Hi guys, so today I'm going to start with some review items that Crafter's Companion sent to me free of charge for my review here on my channel. As I always say, all opinions are my own, and I think you guys know that. So really great. What I'm showing you right now is the beautiful butterfly bundle that was on HSN that I reviewed yesterday and you guys are like going crazy for, especially for the butterfly. It's a really pretty set. So this is something I picked up on my own. I just wanted to show you that again. I'm sure it's going to be on Crafter's Companion soon. I hope is what it sounds like, but I don't know that for sure. So I just wanted to show it to you to remind you to see that review because it's really pretty stuff. And I wanted to show you really quickly the box that came in yesterday from Crafter's Companion. And it was heavy, but I was like, So they were very generous, so thank you so much, Crafter's Companion. Thank you guys, whoever was in the chat, whoever contacted Crafter's Companion to mention my channel, and that, you know, you guys like to see the reviews that I do because I am a Crafter's Companion fan, so it just goes hand in hand. So these are things I would have enjoyed to review anyhow, right? So hopefully you'll get some tips from me on how to use some of these things, and some of these things are new to me. Well, actually all of it's new to me, but when I opened it up I was like, you have got to be kidding, this is very generous. Thank you so much. I mean, we had mentioned, the gal had mentioned, you know, or asked what kind of things I would like to review, and I chose a few, and I didn't know it was going to be like the whole set of that. So we are going to be checking out the rotating stamps, the rotating background stamps. It's basically the whole collection of that. We have the, I think they call them the kaleidoscope stencils, but they're basically layering stencils, and, you know, all of it, which is so, I mean, I'm like, wow, thank you so much. And then when I got to this part, I'm like, what is going on here? Because this is just stuff and, you know, things, and all the way down I'm like, all the paper. It's the whole set kind of got in there. So it's the whole Garden of Love collection, and my goodness, I mean, this is awesome. So I think this is what I'm going to review first, and the reason I'll review this first is because I was on their site the other day and it said that they was going to start dispatching or being sent out March 11th, which is today. So I thought, what a great day. And then earlier, and I don't like telling you guys about timely things like this because later somebody might watch it and it's not going to work, but I got an email this morning, and I don't know if it's from Club Inspire or if you guys got the email. If you have to be signed up, I'm not quite sure, but sign up for Club Inspire. It's free and you get your points and your discounts, and it's awesome. If you use the code CRAFT20, so CRAFT20, you get 20% off your purchase. I don't know if that goes on to, you know, the things I'm showing you here. It seems like it does. And that's on top of whatever discount you might already have. So definitely check that out. I think it ends on the 12th at midnight is what I read. So check that out because, of course, I mean, that's just something I got emailed and I just saw it right now, and I thought, oh, I already know I'm going to use that on because there's a couple of things that I wanted to get, and I think it's going to be a great deal, especially with that. So Craft 20. So let me open this up. We'll check out the whole Garden Love collection and we'll try some of the items out. I'm going to make several videos on this because I can see that there's a lot to get to, and I think it's all really fun. So let's open this up. Okay, so I'm just going to start from the top of the box, and then the last thing is probably going to be the paper packs because I can see that they're at the bottom. So again, this is the new Sara signature Garden of Love collection. So on the very top here, we do have some 3D layered rose and 3D layered daisy dies, and these are for our crafting foam, right? The floral foam, which is right here. And this one comes with some white and like a really pretty green, more of a sea foam, like real pretty, that color. And then kind of a peachy pink. So I'll put this to the side. I know whenever we try those out or I review those, you guys really like those kind of flower forming. And what I had said about theirs is that it's really nice and delicate. Like, I don't have an example here, but of course we're going to try that out. A lot of times I leave them sitting here whenever I make one because they're just pretty. And then we have, I'm going to tell, this is just an abundance of things. So we have the 3D embossing folder. It has the roses here up the side, really pretty, as you can see there. I've mentioned before, I love their new packaging. It's so pretty. And I like when it pops open real easily. But sometimes it kind of has to be torn, but that's okay. So this one has to have and to hold. It's a stamp collection, clear acrylic stamps. And these are kind of like the larger, a little bit larger, like some of those stamps that they put out recently. The verse stamps. So they have lots of different fun things there, sayings. This is what I was curious about. So this is the embellished frame foil stamp die and stamp. So obviously I have a foil press. We will try this out. So basically I was looking at it, I'm like, how are they going to layer the stamp? It stops in some certain spots. So you have your foiling where those little lines are and not in other spots. So when you line up your stamp, it'll go in there really nicely and nestle in there really nicely, because even has little areas for that to happen. So really cool. And this one is Monogrammed Frames. And these are clear acrylic stamps. So these are just the stamps with the different letters and numbers and months. And then we have Floral Bouquet. This is also clear acrylic stamps. And these are kind of the kind that you would probably want to layer up and things, you know, to make a nice little bouquet of things. And I can see my mailman parked right in front of my house, so he's probably going to ring the doorbell. I'm going to keep going through this until he does that. We have Save the Date. And with lots of sentiments, you know, for that kind of thing. Accommodation, gifts, save the date, order of service. Very nice, fancy things here. We have Elegant Peony, and you guys know I love their peonies. Anything peony, I am about it. So we have the Elegant Peony metal die. And then we have another border die. This one's Delicate Lace Border. So I said we'll definitely get to all of these. This is something I'm going to show you next after I go through these that I'm really excited about. Okay, so I'm looking up. I knew he was going to ring it, so he did. All right, so we have Rose Place card, and that is adorable. So it has like the little die for that area, and then it also has to make this little border on the top. This is so cute and small. Oh my gosh, precious. We have lots of metal dies. So we have On Your Wedding Day. We have Wedding Invitation. With All My Love. Always and Forever. Everlasting Love, Happy Anniversary, and Congratulations. Really pretty. I like that font. Let's see. This is the one I was like very curious about, because I do have another video on how to use wax seals, and this is the wax seal kit with a pretty rose and the hearts, and then it has really pretty kind of rosy pink wax and like a deeper kind of gold wax, and as you can see it does have the signature collection engraved on it, which is a really nice touch. And then you have your wood handle that helps you stamp. So we'll definitely do that. I was gonna say maybe even today. And then we have some ribbon. This is the Satin Ribbon that coordinates back to the kit here. And now we're getting to some papers. I was curious about this because I know they had a lot of papers coming in with this. Sorry, and I am just super surprised they sent all of them, which is amazing because they had a lot of paper packs to go along with this kit. So we have Garden of Love. This is the Luxury Matte Mirror card. So as you can see, it's, well, it has the acetate here, but it's not as shiny as the mirror card, which we have next. This is the Luxury Mirror card. And it's like golds, and I know it's hard to tell from this one. Let's say gold, and it's kind of like a green kind of shimmer. And we have a lighter kind of, looks gold, but in this package looks a little more silver. It's very subdued, and a pink. Look at that. Shiny. And you guys always know I always use little papers in the front because you can use those too. Let me move this down. There we go. And then this is the Luxury Linen card. So this is like more of a textured card. If you can see that. So we have like that peachy pink color, a little bit of a very soft yellow, that green, and a nice white. That's good because I don't have a lot of basic colors like white and some of the other sets that I've bought in the past. So I like that. This is the Luxury Glitter card. And the colors are a little more bright in this one, like the green, and this is more of a yellow gold. And when this one has more of a, I want to say bronze, but like an orangey tone to it, and that pink. Okay, so this one is the Vellum Pack. I was curious about that because I did see that they had vellum, and I don't know if you can see the packaging, it's really pretty. And it's just our Vellum Pack. It has 2 colors, 12 double-sided sheets each. Because this is like very shimmery, and this one's kind of like, this is really nice. So check that out for sure. And then we have the small 6x6 paper pad, and it says that it includes stunning foil detail. So let's open this up and just kind of give it a, it's kind of nice to see it in this size because you can kind of have an idea what the larger one looks like, and I can flip through it a little easier. So if we try something out right now, it's going to have to be a quick one because I know going through the kit itself is, there's a lot going on here. Okay. So pretty. So this one has the little gold dots with those pretty flowers. Let me get close up this way. Look at that. And they are single-sided, which I remember seeing on the website. Some papers sometimes are double-sided. This one has like a kind of a color wash, kind of a pink. This one has little gold dots, really pretty. More of your leaves, kind of background paper. This is gorgeous. I love this. And there's a foil stamp that I have of theirs I haven't tried out yet, but it looks something like this. The foil die, I guess more of a die stamp. And it does this kind of texture, but look how pretty that is on the edges of the paper with the little pink wash background with the roses. Oh, I love that. The little circle. Gorgeous. And look at this one with little gold dots in there with the script writing and then the roses on the edges. And there's 3 sheets of each one in this pack. I'm sorry, let me move this because it's making... There you go. And then we have like the kind of like the white wash wood look, which I see a lot of people put in the backgrounds of their videos, which looks really nice. I just obviously have my mat here, but this one has like a little gold kind of like leaves. And then we have this really pretty rose paper with very soft roses here and there. Script in gold foil. This is pretty. Can you guys see how... Oh my gosh. That's awesome. I love it because it's so detailed with the foil. That's so pretty. And then this one has the kind of whitewash wood with flowers, the roses over it, which is really gorgeous. There may be some peonies and stuff in there. That's really nice. Look at this one. Reminds me kind of like a sophisticated kind of pretty wallpaper. We talked about wallpaper the other day. You know what? Maybe one of the gals had mentioned it on Crafters TV. And in the chat we were kind of talking about that being a nightmare to remove. And this one has a nice wash. I don't remember if it was from this kit though. I think it was something else she was referring to. Look at that. Has kind of like a lattice or like, not really chicken wire, more of a lattice in the background with the pretty foiling. And then we have the whitewash wood. And the one has a little more pink tones on it where this one's more of a white. That's gorgeous. And then the paper pack, last but not least. So this is the 12 by 12, and looking at it from the outside here, it's basically the same patterns, just much larger. So hopefully you can kind of imagine that from smaller papers I showed you. Look how pretty that is. So let me think about what we want to do. We definitely want to try out a lot of these things right now. So let's get started. Okay guys, I think I have everything I need. So let me put this to the side. I will need to cut something in just a second. So, don't let this scare you. I kind of want to scrunch the ribbon and then use the seal over it. So you can see how here they just put the seal over this ribbon, but I kind of wanted to give it a little scrunching and see if it'll give us a little dimension. You could just tie a knot, but it might make it too wonky, so I don't want to do that. I'm going to use the Always and Forever. I'm going to use the delicate lace border. We're going to use some of the vellum, and hopefully the glue I have will work with this. I did want to show you because it does say double-sided, and you're thinking, what, double-sided vellum? Because vellum's see-through, right? It's because some of it's shimmery, like this one that you see here. I don't know if you can see, it has like a shimmer to it. So basically, both sides have that nice shimmer, is kind of what they're talking about. Hopefully you can see that shimmer there. And both sides of it have that shimmer. But I'm going to use this little scrap that's down in here, the portion that they kind of add there so you can see what the paper looks like. And I'm going to cut this down to 4 by 6. So when we come back, that'll be cut. I just wanted to show you that I was using the scrap that's in there. And I have some other layers of card here, and I'm using the white linen, the paper in white, to make a card base. And this is 7 by 10, so we're going to score it at 5. So we have a 5 by 7 card base. I'm just going to get that. And sometimes when it's thick like this, you just do a couple of soft scores. You don't really want to cut your paper, but you do want it to score. So just kind of, I just do a couple of scores. It's better than doing one rough one and cutting your paper or messing it up. So nice card, very nice weight. And I don't think we're going to need this again, so I'm going to put this to the side. Okay, so we're gonna put that to the side. So what I did was I took these papers here. So this is from the smaller 6x6 paper pad, and I wanted to layer vellum over it. And I thought, I looked through the pack to see which one was the brightest as far as the papers are very muted, very soft, pretty colors. So I picked this one because I like the way the foil looks, and with the vellum layered over it, which I just cut because I told you guys I would cut it down. So this is 4 by 6. This is 4.5 by 6.5. And then this soft kind of blush color is also 4.5 by 6.5. And that's going to layer over the card like this. And then I have the delicate lace border, and let's just pop that open, very easy. And I'm just going to take the scrap piece of the white linen that came in the pack at the very bottom so you can kind of see the papers that are in there. And I don't recall, I'm pretty sure I showed you guys the double-sided paper, right? I couldn't remember if I had cut it first and then showed it to you or not, but the vellum is double-sided with the shimmery on both sides. Very pretty. And that shimmer one. This one is more just of a regular vellum. And so I'm just going to take this board. So what we're going to do is just cut this out on this scrap of paper. So let me get my Gemini plates. Again, well loved, no worse for the wear here. So we're going to do is just put this down. This doesn't matter where it goes because even if it moves, it's just the white linen paper. So I'm just going to leave that there. I am going to use the metal shim, magnetic shim, plastic shim because it is a very detailed die, and the other cutting plate. You can use whatever sandwich your cutting instrument needs. Okay, so let's get that going. Wow, that's really, really super intricate. Let me see if I can... How are we going to pop this out? Where are the popping tabs to get this out? I'm going to poke on this very edge. Nice card, so it's really nice and thick. Here we go. And then I'll clean that out. Look at that. Wow, so pretty. And I guess while we're here, we should also just go ahead and cut out the sentiment. I'm going to clean this out, but like I said, I always like to put it back on the carrier. I'll put this over here to the side for a minute. Let's see how big this sentiment is, and then I'll know how much little paper I need. Oh, it's not too big. Let me see if I have I had cut some of this earlier, the white linen for the card base, so I just tore a piece off of here. So I'm going to use this also in the white linen, but I'm going to tape this since the piece of paper is much smaller. I don't want that to shift around. And we can keep the same sandwich, or you can, you know, probably ditch the metal mat. So plastic shim, magnetic mat. Pop that through. So these are the base items we're going to need, and then we're going to go ahead and do our ribbon and all that fun stuff. Ooh, perfect. It's a really pretty script font, so just be careful with it. Ooh, look at that. So pretty, you guys. And let's just get rid of some of these other little pieces here. Okay, well, I'm going to keep popping out the little bits. It's just these little guys right here. Well, I guess that's it. I was like, I'll just come back, but that was it. So we have Always and Forever. We have this other piece. Let's not misplace this. I'm going to put this back on its carrier. And, oopsie. Let me get these things together, and we'll see as far as layering it up and then getting that wax going. Okay, I think I decided how I want to do this. And the Always and Forever, I wanted to put it on top, and it's kind of fading away. So what I'm going to do is just take some of this. I've never used this one before. I just opened it, the little wrap for Pink Tulip. So it's kind of a purple pinky color, but I think it's going to be really pretty. So let me grab that. I'm going to grab one of my tools with a new head on it because I've never used this kind of color. And I'm just going to put this down. And I'm just going to get a little bit, just like a little blush of color on there. I don't want it to be too garish, especially because the card is so sweet and subdued. I don't want to do too much on this, but I do want it more noticeable. So this is the water reactive ink, but whatever inks you have would be great. I'm just putting a little blush of color on that, kind of at the top, maybe a little bit more, and at the very base. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's much better. Check that out. All right, that looks good. Okay, because I was like, oh, it just kind of fades away. My idea didn't work out too great, but that's better. Okay, so we're gonna layer this thing up. Let me put this to the side. Hopefully I don't have a bunch of ink on my hands. Basically, this is gonna go behind this guy, right here. And just, I kind of really want it to go off the edge so you can see a lot of it on the edge. I think it'd be pretty. So we're gonna stick those down, and I guess we'll just use some of this. I'm gonna try to put them down at the same time. That way they kind of go together. Actually, what I'm gonna do is stick this one down first, because we're gonna build up and I want the ribbon to go behind this. So I'm just barely putting it on that little edge piece there. And just gonna put this to the side. Kind of eyeballing how far up and down I have it there. Okay. So this guy, we're not gonna stick this down quite yet because I want the last thing to be the wax seal. And so the ribbon needs to go around that a little bit. So let's cut some ribbon. I think I'm gonna use the green ribbon. I'm gonna use the pink wax. So all I'm gonna do is bring this, just take a piece of this. And I'm gonna bring it around the edge. So I'm just gonna cut this to where it kind of needs to be. Maybe about there. And I'm gonna try to pick off this little gooey tape, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I got that off of there. I just kind of had to pull it and smudge it off there. Okay, so I want to take my needle, and you don't have to use a needle. You can just use the thread. I'll show you real quickly. And you can just take a piece of thread and wrap it around and around and around however you like. I kind of want it to go a little bit lower where I put the seal. Like right in here. So what I'm going to do is just take my thread and go up and down, up and down. You do not have to do anything like this. Actually, I'm going to go a little bit higher. But I just kind of wanted to scrunch a little bit so it looks like just a little more detail there. And of course you can put a knot at the end of your thread and pull it tight. And then just keep wrapping around and around. I used to do this with like hair bows. So that's kind of where I'm getting this inspiration from. And usually if you do it so tight enough that it'll just stay. Or you can go back with your needle again. Back through to kind of lock that down. And we're going to cover that up with wax so it's not like the neatest thing in the world, but it'll do. So let's cut that off. And see, you get that little pucker. And then when I put the seal on it, it'll look really nicely, I think. So let's go ahead and finish layering this up because basically that's going to go on top of everything. So we can put our sentiment to the side for right now. We're not going to stick this down quite yet. And I'm just going to put down my little 4x6 piece of paper here. And if you guys want to distress, you know, any of this stuff, obviously, that's great. I was even thinking about putting the words behind the vellum too. So the vellum is the very top thing. But I changed my mind. So another way you can stick vellum down, obviously you want to be very careful with it because it's noticeable, whatever glue you use. But like when I put those words there, I can put the glue behind where the words are so then it's less noticeable. But I'm going to put just a little drop of my all-purpose Collal, the smallest drop on these corners because that's where it's going to be more noticeable. And here it's going to be covered by the ribbon, so you can put a little bit more. And I'm just going to layer that on top and not really mess with it. Just be careful with it. Hopefully you can see that it's not super noticeable. I think one time I used acetate to make a box, the hexagon box, and I used this stuff, and it was very, very not noticeable, especially if it goes all the way to the edges of whatever you're creating. It just really disappears. So we have that. Let me put this aside. Let me put some things away. Let this dry for a little minute and I'll be right back. So let's get this down. So basically what I was waiting for was just for this to be ready. And I'm just going to put some adhesive on our card base because I don't want to squish the vellum and all that stuff too much right now, just in case it's still a little bit wet. And I'm going to get this over this. And I am also going to use a wet glue on this too, kind of at the right within where we're going to be, because I want to make sure this is going to stick down, and I also want the ribbon to have an extra thing to stick to. Oopsie. So I'm going to eyeball this, and I kind of want it somewhere in here. And you can always stick your ribbon obviously down on the back before you mess with it the way I'm doing, but I'm just going to hold it on one side and really get that adhered, and then come down and manipulate it on the bottom side here. I think that's pretty good. Before I really, oops, see, I told you, it might not be dry yet. At this very bottom, I'm just going to pick this up and pull that a little bit tight. Right down there. Okay, so we have our ribbon on here. And so for this last part, now you can do this a couple different ways. These kits come so that you basically burn the end of it and then you let that drip, drip, drip. And for my purposes, because that's kind of chunky where I want to place it, I probably want to use a little spoon. Now, not everyone has a little spoon, and I don't know that every spoon will do this for you, so I'll show you what I have. It's a wax melting spoon. Super inexpensive, but I just happen to have it because I have a lot of wax melting kits. So it just looks like this. It looks like a measuring spoon. That's why it might even be like a 1 teaspoon measuring spoon. But I'm going to show you how I would do it, but I will show you how it's intended for this one. And I'm going to use the rose. Just let's bring that rose back in, but you have the little hearts too. You just take your wooden handle, screw that on, and then pick whichever wax you would like. So normally what you would do, since the kit comes this way, is you burn the wax tip here. So go ahead and take a lighter. And to be honest, I should probably make this wick a little bit shorter just so it's not going to burn for very long before we start doing this. But I'll show you real quickly. So normally, again, you just kind of let it burn, and once it starts getting close to your wax, you want to start turning. I don't know if you can see that it's already melting. So let it get close there, and it's going to start dripping, but what you can do is keep turning it and keep turning in the area that you want to pour the wax. And then hopefully, I don't know if you can see that, it's going to start dripping right now. So if you can see a little drip of wax just fell. Okay, so you would just keep doing that. Just keep turning it and letting the wax melt and keep adding it up, adding up, adding up until you have a nice pile of wax. Okay, so you would just keep doing that with quite a bit of patience. I'm going to turn this out. And I'm just going to cut chunks off of this. So I'm going to take my, you can use a craft knife or whatever you like, but let me put this to the side for now. And I'm just going to take a chunk off of this. And sometimes you can chunk it even to smaller pieces just because it'll melt that much faster. And then you can kind of keep an eyeball, like how much of this do you need? So I might need a little bit more. I usually like to fill up the spoon with quite a bit. And then you just take any tea light candle that you might have, and you can turn it on. Again, if you're gonna do this with a regular spoon, be very careful because I'm sure it might get super hot. Like this one, I think it might be made out of some kind of item that doesn't, some kind of metal that doesn't really get too hot, but it will get hot. So all you do is hold it over your little flame, and it'll start melting, and it'll make you a nice little puddle of wax. So I'm just kind of holding it here, and once it starts melting, I kind of give it a little movement because I don't want it to scorch any one area. It takes a long time to scorch it, though. It's very hard to scorch. But, so yeah, I'm just going to sit here, and I don't know if, let me get closer. You might start noticing that it's already melting on the sides. Okay, so it's very easy, and this is really nice wax because it melts very quickly. So I'm going to keep going like this until it's nice and melted, and we'll be right back. Okay, that took not even 2 minutes, probably less, because my camera will turn off after 3 minutes, and it hasn't turned off yet. So we're almost there. I just wanted to make sure, and you're going to start seeing bubbles and things, so you're good. Once it's pretty melted, you're good to go. With these little spoons, they do get like soot on the bottom, so be very careful to not mess up your project once you come back to it. So what I'm going to do is hold this down and pour this little glop right over that area as well as I can. And it does have a lot of wax. I'm going to bring some back up over that little hump, and then we're going to hold the wax seal. Now I'm going to hold it because of that bump I have there, I want it to stay nicely. So I'm going to hold it the whole time, but you don't have to hold it the whole time. If you don't have a bump there, or if you're just putting on paper, don't worry about it. Just let it go. And you can just leave it for like 2 or 3 minutes. I'll probably let it go in just a minute. I just want to make sure it's going to have a nice foundation to stamp into. And I guess you could also pay attention to which direction your gold, your head is going. I just placed it on there because I don't know why. Whenever I have wax seals, I always get like all anxious about it. So I'll be back in a couple minutes once it looks like this is hardened around the area. Okay guys, this is the most fun and organic part always. It's to reveal it. So let's see. It's been a couple minutes. Aww, look at that. Really cool. And then I was thinking, while this is drying, why don't we use our Peony Gilding Wax? So I happen to have tons of these. I think I have every color Crafter's Companion puts out. And what's funny is when my postman rang the doorbell, he was bringing me a Crafter's Companion package. So I'll haul that later. So I'm just getting a little bit on my finger here, and you can just put it wherever you like. I would just rub it around like the raised area more than anywhere else. Really nice. So there's that, just another little touch you can add. There you go. And last thing, and hopefully I don't get gold all over everything, is our little Always and Forever. And I'm just going to use some tacky glue to do that. And, you know, I always just put it lightly wherever. Use your spray glues, run it through your machines. Get the adhesive on there however you like, but I just do a little bit here and there. And that's it for today's card, guys. Hopefully I showed you a little bit of using each one of these little things, some tips here and there. Do not be afraid of wax seals. They're so fun. They're so much fun. I don't know why I don't do it more often, because really it's just a fun thing to add here and there. I would love to get some flowers on this, but I wanted to keep it kind of simple for today. And I'm still going to put that kind of like right there and maybe under here. I'll straighten that up. But thank you so much, Crafter's Companion. My goodness, what a generous review package. I really appreciate it. I'm sure the viewers really appreciate seeing these things in action here at home. And guys, thank you so much. Again, get that discount while you can. And sorry, I meant to mention, keep an eye out for the next reviews. I'm going to continue working with this kit. Of course, we're going to use... I'm really, really curious about the rotating stamps. They look like a lot of fun. The kaleidoscope stencils. You guys love their stencils, so I'm sure it's going to be great. And always, you can see these things on crafterscompanion.com. I'll have the links in the description box for you. And I will see you guys at the next one. Thanks. Bye now.